Good afternoon. How are you, Saahil?
I'm doing wonderful. Such a pleasure to be here, Mr. B.
Oh, thank you. Welcome to Free Talk with Mr. B, the platform of giving back. The last time I saw your image was at the World Health Awards, and you were not there, so there was a wonderful presentation that we put up on the screen, and everyone paid attention to listen to you. And I mean, I'm sure they may have forgotten right after because it was not the last thing they saw, but it was good to see you, and it's really, really good to have you here.
It's a blessing to be here in person, especially with everything going on.
I know, I really appreciate that. How do you feel about the award?
You know, it always feels good to get recognized for the work that you do. You know, there's a lot of hard work, blood and sweat that goes into making an impact, making a difference. And then once you get recognition, it allows more people to know about you, and then you can further enhance the reach and the impact that you can make. So I see this as a great platform for more people to know what I do and how I can give back to society and make a difference in the world.
Very nice.
So very excited.
I love when all of my guests say give back because it kind of edifies my platform as a giving back platform. But since I know so little about you, and everybody probably does too, we do want to enhance the getting to know you. Who would you tell us that you are?
So to describe it in very few words, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an author, and a mountaineer.
Well,
you know, three words that really describe me pretty well.
And you probably could add philanthropist in there too.
Absolutely.
Because I think I use that expression because a lot of people think that they have to have a lot to give back. Did you feel from the work you do and your entrepreneur behavior that you had to have a lot to get started or to do something?
You know, initially, yes, because you see people who are giving lots of money or a lot of their time, whether it's a Warren Buffett or a Bill Gates. I mean, we're talking billions, and not everyone has billions to give,
right,
or maybe even a lot of time to give, because it's not just the money. But then I realized that I should not compare myself with other people.
Okay.
There are always people who are, let's say, looking at me and saying, I wish I could do what he's doing,
right,
no matter where I am in life. And so it's about giving back to the people who have less than I do.
Yes.
And if that means I'm able to offer a few hours of my time every week, some of the money that I'm generating through my businesses, then so be it. I don't want to compare, because if I compare, I'm always going to be the small guy, right?
But I mean, that being said, I'm going to throw a curveball.
Sure.
What do you think you gave back to someone who has more than what you have?
Okay, so it depends how you define more.
Okay, good.
Right,
good.
I find that unfortunately the world that we live in, a lot of people compare from a perspective of wealth.
Right.
Right, and when I say wealth, just to be clear and on the definition, financial wealth.
Right.
Right? But the thing is, we've all realized that financial wealth is not really success on its own. Right? And if anything, the last 18 months or 12 to 18 months have taught us that health is also wealth. Right? Health is also wealth, and that's why I love this platform, because it's really highlighting something that what I believe should be someone's first priority. And what we've also been highlighted is relationships. Right? When we've not been around our loved ones or far away from them, we're craving to be with others, right, to be with our family members. We've come to realize the importance of relationships. So when someone comes to me and they go, I want to be successful, I'm like, great, what does success mean? Then they say, I want to be rich. I say, great, what does rich mean? And as I mentioned, most people focus on the financial, but I've started to see that people are now realizing that without health, you could have all the money in the world, but when it comes to a terminal illness or some health issue, you're ready to give up all your fortune, right, just to stay alive, right?
The pandemic helps us that's one of the pluses of the pandemic, to have a awareness of what your priorities are. And so that's what I was hoping we all saw. And you're saying those key words, those are the valuable things more than financial wealth. The health, time, loved ones, all of those things are things that makes you whole or complete. And there's some people that could have more than you in those areas, more than me in that areas. So yes, we give back to society in the spectrum of people who have more and the spectrum of people who have less.
Absolutely. So coming back to the definition of more, if someone sees me as having stronger relationships or stronger health than what they have, regardless of their financial situation, they're still looking at me and saying, hey, he can help.
Right.
He can open my eyes to, a new world. He can show me a different perspective.
Because like what you were saying, I retired in 2016, and I did consulting, and I'm going to retire again this month. But I wanted to start up the program, Free Talk with Mr. B, as a form of giving back.
Right.
Now, unlike Bill Gates and others, I did not have the capital to keep giving money around.
Yeah.
But I felt I was looking at the world and saying everyone has experiences, and the accumulation of our experiences are priceless. You just can't put a dollar on it. So that's a lot of what I wanted to gather from you two, because I think you have phenomenal experiences, especially even mountain climbing experiences. And when we give it back, someone in the world finds it valuable who would listen to the podcast. And when I met Farouji and Dr. Hanan, and they were working on the world health, I was like, not the world's wealth, but the world's health. And so I involved myself, and you did too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very good. You brought breaking free. I love the words. I mean, decluttering is a word that just strikes at me, because if you saw my house, you'll think I'm poor because I don't have things everywhere. You wouldn't think I'm poor, but you'll think I just do not like things. So, I mean, maybe tell us about it.
I found out many years ago that I had a lot of clutter in my life. And, just to define what clutter is,
right.
I define it as clutter is nothing more than shunned confrontations.
Okay, well, you have to say that again.
Clutter is nothing more than shunned confrontations. So I realized I was shunning confrontation in all areas of my life, whether it was with my health, whether it was mentally, whether it was relationships with people, and to some extent as well the physical and material world, right?
Okay.
And so I asked myself, why am I holding on to things that no longer serve any function in my life, nor give me any joy?
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to use an analogy from the mountains. As I told you, I'm a mountain climber. So imagine I'm climbing up the mountain and I'm carrying excess weight that doesn't serve any function to reach the summit. Now, this is what I've done. I've reduced my chances of going to the top because I'm carrying more weight, so it's going to take me longer. It's going to require more energy, and I may not even make it to the summit. So using the same analogy in our summit of success in our life, if we're carrying all that extra baggage that doesn't serve any purpose, we're reducing our chances to succeed. So when someone says, I want to succeed, the first step is to get rid of everything that you don't need. Okay. And that's how we focus on decluttering. We declutter the mind, we declutter the body, we declutter relationships, and we declutter the material world as well.
Right. Because the things you said, that means we can apply it anywhere, whether it's in our marriage or in business or in mountain climbing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But no, that's really neat, because it's important. I get in trouble with my wife for getting rid of things, but I encourage her to give it to someone who needs it. And there's certain things we declutter, we cannot give it, we wouldn't even dare give it to someone because we won't wish it upon them in other aspects of our lives. But it's good to declutter. I'm very fascinated by it. Where can everyone find?
It's actually available on all online platforms, and for those people residing in the UAE, they can buy it at all major bookstores. So it's at Kuno Konya, it's at Borders.
Okay, so
maybe not all the branches.
Probably in the US too then.
So only in the UAE,
okay.
But it's also available on Amazon.ae.
Okay.
So for people living in here, they can purchase it online or offline.
So then what would be your plan? Because the world needs it. Because we're leading to better health when we declutter.
Yeah.
For example, if I was decluttering my palette of eating substances, if I looked at it that way, then I'd lead to better health, right?
Absolutely.
And so if I'm decluttering, then everyone around the world needs it. So neat. Very neat.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
For sure. Any particular chapter that yours that you just wanted everyone to pay attention to?
I would say chapter 2, because chapter 2 focuses on awareness.
Okay.
We many times we're doing things consciously or unconsciously, we don't know why. Right? Because maybe it's something that's part of heritage or something we've learned in life from our family, from our parents, from school, from friends, and it's become our way of thinking. But what I found through my process is I had to unlearn a lot of things that I'd learned and relearn new things.
I heard that before.
Yeah,
I heard that before.
Because I'll give you a very simple example. So, and no one taught me this. So in awareness, what does awareness mean? Awareness means having a better idea of what's going on within you. And I always use this analogy a metaphor. And the metaphor I use is that we are a horse and a horse rider. In general, we're the horse rider. We tell the horse, speed up, slow down, jump, go left, go right. Okay? But when our emotions start to rise, and these could be positive or negative emotions, suddenly we become the horse. And now we're a wild animal. And we don't know which way we're going.
Right.
We can't control it. Right? I mean, how many times have you looked back and go, I wish I didn't say that, or I wish I didn't do that. Yeah, I can fill pages and pages of it, right? But through a heightened level of awareness, as you see your emotions rise, you can use various techniques to, switch back from the horse and prevent yourself becoming the horse and get back to the horse rider.
Yeah, like bringing yourself back in control of the situation, the whole situation.
Exactly. And the technique that I usually use is through breath.
Okay.
I just find that just pause and just take some deep breaths, because that pause allows you to reflect and calm down. It allows you to do both. So you're not reacting anymore, because what most people do, and what I used to do a lot of, I still do every now and again, is I would react as opposed to pause and then respond.
Yeah. I think a lot of that's in our relationship. It happens a lot, being married almost 40 years. It's one of those things where, like you said, I would have to unlearn some old habits and relearn some new habits, because as we go into retirement, we have to spend time with a person you think you know well, but you really don't. In the home. And so whether it's in business or at home or other parts of your life, I like that thought you said about unlearn and relearn. And the pause, I'm hearing you saying, does give us a chance to not only rethink but reset.
Yeah.
So I like that. It's a full mindset.
I mean, I came from the frame of thought. Just to share one unlearning that I had to do was, after marriage, for me, we were one. We had to do everything together. We had to go to dinner together. We had to go to the cinema together. We were kind of tied at the hip. But that caused conflict. Because everything she wants to do, I don't, and everything I want to do, she doesn't. So, I came across this amazing passage on marriage from Khalil Gibran in the book The Prophet. And the summary of it is that we're two different souls on two different journeys that just happen to intertwine a lot. And when I read that, it was like that light bulb went off.
Like
an
epiphany.
I said, why do we have to do everything together? I know this sounds simple, but...
Oh no, I'm married for 40 years, I told you. Well, this is my, I got 30 days into my 40th year.
Yeah. And
it means a lot to me, and maybe even others, right? And so the whole idea is that it is two people.
Yeah.
So the coding that we got, I think it was Sharmista who told me about we are coded. The coding that we got that you now become one. But it's one what?
Yeah.
You become one couple, not one person.
Yeah. Yeah, so exactly.
One couple, not one person, because we have completely different desires and goals and likes and dislikes. Whether it was mountain climbing. If your wife doesn't like mountain climbing, she shouldn't go.
No.
She becomes a burden.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If I didn't like doing something she does, then I can be a nuisance. And so yes, I love that. So
we went from a relationship filled with expectations to more of a relationship based on acceptance.
Makes a world of difference.
But the frame of thought that the culture I came from, it was very different.
Yeah.
So I had to unlearn what I believed,
Very good example.
and relearn, right?
We will do a whole podcast on that one subject only, because that's a very good one, lengthy one. But then we will watch what we say so that we don't offend our wives.
Absolutely.
This is a good point to say just that. Sometimes I tell my guests, please come back on the program, because you have so many subjects that you're just barely touching on that needs to be discussed in length. And so when the World Health Awards go all over, we do encourage you to join us, support them always. I think you would do that, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. One thing I do ask all my guests is as a form of giving back scenario. And so you went to school in which country?
In Belgium.
In Belgium. So you just got this email where you were invited back to be the guest speaker at your class, in the graduating class currently in Belgium.
Yeah.
And you're the keynote speaker, and you told them everything you wanted to tell them. But you left one thing for last so that you can really leave it solidly in their mind what you want them to remember. What would that be?
So there's a quote, and this is one of my favorite quotes. It goes by like this: they did not know it was impossible, so they did it. They did not know it was impossible, so they did it. I realized through the years that, and I see this with my clients, that we usually are the biggest blocks, the biggest obstacles to our own growth because of our self-limiting beliefs. And a very quick story. My trainer tells me to welcome in 2020, let's do something grand. I said, okay, sure. And he goes, let's do 2.02 kilometers of lunges. I said, sorry, I don't think I heard you right. And he said 2.02 kilometers of lunges, so 2,020 meters of lunges to bring in 2020. At first I'm like, you're crazy. And then I remembered my quote, it's my mantra in life, and I go, hey, why am I saying this? Okay, let's do it.
You didn't know, you couldn't do it.
Yeah, and guess what? Out of all the people, the crazy ones, if we want to call ourselves that started to do it, all but one completed. All but one completed it.
Because they didn't know
that it was impossible.
Very, very nice. I like that. And that's something that you can definitely leave with them. Well, it's really, really, really nice to have you on. Really, really nice to have you here. The author of the book, Break Free. I keep wanting to call you Dr. Saahil, Mr. Saahil, and welcome. Thank you so much. And the World Health Awards, thank you so much for being on with them and for being a key supporter. We really appreciate it, and Free Talk with Mr. B, we really appreciate having you on, and look forward to talking to you over and over again.
Thank you.
It's very pleasant.
Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so very much. Have a good evening.
You too.